Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EU League. It is time for match of the day. G2 Esports versus Rogue is where we will turn our attention to between these two squads in Germany, at least based in with G2, not all of them really in Germany anymore, yada, yada, yada. Come back, I'm Most Medic. With me is Jess and Fresh, and we are going to have a chat about these two. First up, Rogue, that have had a series of very fortunate successes recently, Jess.
And it's not via luck either, is it? They have changed the way that they formulate themselves on attack, and it is refreshing, it is revitalizing, and it is a damn exciting game to watch. Out of all the teams in EUL who I've enjoyed watching over the past two play days, especially on the harder side, we would consider defense to be the easier side to play.
Yeah.
On the harder side, and that they have perfected almost, is Rogue. It is a very, very nice and refreshing game to watch.
And they've taken Villa and Cafe as their previous two maps that are considered more of the defender-sided maps in the map pool. And they've made attacking look so easy, especially that Villa.
That was incredible.
4-2 on the half on the Villa against Na'Vi, and then 3-3 last week on Cafe.
Incredible. And these are not knockover opponents by any means. Let us just make sure you understand the fact that they've been able to bowl over opponents that, had they have played old Rogue of this stage, or even, you know, the end of last stage, that we would be turning around and saying they would lose this match almost wholeheartedly. They're a brand new, refreshed roster, and with the imposition of Prano, things have been going pretty good.
And I think there was a bit of a question mark in our heads about Prano, about how he would fit into be the IGL. But what we didn't realise is there would be this kind of shift of attack. If it's kind of old world for Rogue, in a sense, a kind of meta game that you see, that question mark exists. But in these new attacks, these kind of crisp, clean, fast-paced attacks, it really plays into his hands.
G2 on the other side, Fresh. Not looking super hot now. Jess called them 7-2 in the beginning of the show.
They're not looking super hot, and we went over it in the pre-show about how they've got inherent kind of intrinsic problems with basic team play and coordination, which is not something you expect to say about G2 a whole lot. And it's really hard because when, you know, there's two sides to Siege, obviously attacking and defending. G2 haven't won an attack in 2 games, and they've got some serious issues kicking around. And, you know, I don't think it's just one, it's a plethora of issues, whether that be players, strategy, kind of team play, communication, trust. Something or a lot of things aren't clicking for them right now, and it's kind of a shame to see because everyone knows and expects that G2 will be up there with the best of them, and they're currently not in stage 3. Yeah,
and I mean, even with that kind of, you know, nostalgia that you feel when you hear the G2 name, even just beyond that, we are in EUL. This is Tier 1 play in one of the best regions in the world. Okay, albeit we're second to LATAM at the moment, so that's okay. The second best region in the world currently. And I think that when you're looking at a region like this that holds such strong amount of teams to be performing the way that you are, with the kind of expectations on your shoulders, with players on your roster that have high expectations on them, Citizen, Hungry, if you're, you know, likening back years ago for the kind of experience he has, there is no excuse anymore. We've given you time. You gave Vitality time. We gave G2 time, and it's almost out.
So which map are we going to be on
interesting.
This matchup? Let's go for map ends. Show us the money, ladies and gentlemen. Which is it? And what? Okay.
I think there's been an error on the map end.
You would think so. But I want to tell you that Rogue did indeed ban twice to give us said decider on Coastline.
Okay, well, back it up. Put it in a rewind. You can't do that.
You can, and here's how it works. It's actually quite simple.
I am being baited here.
You two have had your time as coaches.
I've had this once where I've banned like this once.
Why? I've never been able to take vetoes like this.
Tell us then, Fresh.
This means that G2 have not turned up and banned that last map. And
no, I refuse to believe it.
After an elapsed period of time, it goes to the other team and they get to choose the final map.
3 minutes in the rules. I think it's like section 4, paragraph 3 or 6.1 or something, which is specifically you get 3 minutes after the previous map, the other team banned the other map. You go in. You're in the zone. I am doing map bans for the next 10 minutes. That's it. So how did that happen?
Okay,
G2 didn't turn up.
So no. G2 turned up. The person who does the map bans didn't turn up. And there is only one person on that team currently left who does the map bans. It's a man I very well respect in this entire scene, who's someone I looked up to when I was a coach, who has dropped the ball considerably because now Rogue has gotten to choose the map of their preference 2 times over.
Yeah.
You never let that happen. I've never heard of this in my life. It's happened to you. It's never happened to me.
It happened to me in, I think it was SI qualifiers for 2020 SI.
Online.
When I was on G2, the online qualifiers, it was the old August roster that did it.
Okay.
But I've never seen it before.
Wow. This is a fumble of epic proportions.
In my mind, it probably still goes to Coast if G2 have that pick because it's a very high preference map for them. But that's a big blunder to allow your opponent to choose that final.
It was between Cafe and Coastline, so very quickly, because our lobby is ready. Your thoughts on it?
High preference map for both teams, so I'm not surprised to see it go there. And G2 have had attacking woes, so go to the most attacker-sided map makes sense.
I would have said Cafe would have been better to go to for G2, but I mean, that's, dependent on the day, dependent on the team, and G2 is seemingly struggling on every map. So we'll see how this goes. I'd like to see a revitalized G2 today.
You're going to Coastline, things are you're really scraping the barrel for this one here, but let's see. Fresh Jess, thank you very much. It is match of the daytime. Rogue versus G2. I'm going to toss it to our casters to go to one of their favorite maps. I'm so told for at least one of them. It's Coastline. Again, sunny Ibiza. We got Dez and Ace6. Throw it. Enjoy.
I feel like we're in a race to the bottom. My mental or G2's mental first. This is going to be a rough game is the only way I can think about it, because look at Rogue and the kind of form and thunder they're hitting teams with on the attack, and G2 going to Coastline. To me, it feels like one of those that's a bit of a battle against Rogue, who are going to really enjoy this one, I'm sure, Ace.
Well, this is it. It's not just about the fact that Rogue are doing well on the attack. It's the style of Siege that they play in Des.
And socials are still with G2.
They've got a lot of fans.
All right.
They've got a lot of fans. But I mean, they might have a couple less by the end of this. I don't know. We'll see.
What can I say, mate? I'm not a massive advocate of blind faith, but all right, then if you believe this is G2's redemption day, then I'm in for it. But Rogue had a chat with Leon earlier on. He's like, we're feeling good today. I mean, why wouldn't you after the stage they've had so far? And I believe it's third place, 4 of 5 wins.
4 out of 5 wins.
G2 not looking so pretty with only 2 out of 5. It's a little bit dicey for them so far, but let's see. I remember an incredibly chaotic game on this map a good while ago, actually. I think it was back when Leon was on Team Secret. They came up against, I want to say it was Na'Vi, and it was spawn peak galore for the defenders. Now, Rogue don't start, of course, on the defense. You won't see too much of that, but I am expecting a game where they are going to be up in the faces of G2. They're going to be making them sweat. They'll come up with them fast. Maybe that's why you're seeing an interesting band coming out there in the form of the Lion.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, this map can be a good leveler. We know that. G2 not been playing...
No, it can't.
It can be. G2 not been playing fantastically well. You're struggling. Just turn up to Coastline and just throw everything at it. See what sticks, you know? I know you don't want it, Des, but...
No. Since I saw this is some of my This is some of your LATAM love bleeding into me. Since I saw Furia play SSG on this map at Mexico, and win, my opinion changed slightly. I even tweeted and said this might just be one of my favourite games of Coastline I've ever seen. It took a lot for me to say words like that, but it was very, very true. This could be one of those games that I think could be explosive and exciting between the two as well, which is what I'm looking forward to. Hey, Brian, has had a haircut. How's all that gone?
Yeah,
another size down, mate. Be looking like you. You're giving him some tips.
Not just yet. He's not close enough yet.
I haven't got any tips to give him, mate.
There's a bit more to be done there. A bit more to be done.
Just a few more off, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Right then, let's see how things shape out in round 1. By the looks of it, I was going to say something interesting, maybe coming out of Rogue to start things off, changing away from the Ying, the Oryx being 6 picked in away from the Vigil. Normally seeing a Vigil off roaming somewhere around the map, but the Oryx a little bit more mobile, you might wager here, Ace, and keen to see what the game plan is with that pick.
Yeah, I mean, I've predicted Rogue for this one in the predictions for tonight.
Weird,
I think it makes sense given the way that Rogue have been going so far, and G2's sort of downward spiral rather than a trend. It's been tough to watch over the last couple of Playdays, but there's a little bit in a corner somewhere that's just saying, I think we might just see something different from G2 today. There's a bit of me that just keeps saying it can't continue forever.
Look at game 1.
And then it does. But
look at Na'Vi versus VP at the start of the day.
This is what I mean. There's something niggling at me saying that this will not continue forever for G2, and in the same way that a stopwatch is right twice a day, as I'm expecting a better performance out of them. I'm expecting it to sort of come out of nowhere.
Then why didn't you predict them, Ace?
Because I still think Rogue will win. But
But you're expecting a better performance for Rogue to still win. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know what to expect from G2.
A man rattled by the sounds of it, not quite sure which way to lean in the game. Crying, leaning off to the right, making sure Office is being challenged early on. And Hungry, oh my god, already almost losing his life. And I spoke about pace and aggression. It's Leon trying to push his way forward, so does finally get taken out around Pink. Kayak finding the opening kill, and now there's going to be a slight pause. Hungry, lucky to still have his life.
He is, and that was a good rebuttal from G2 there as Rogue tried to rush in and take some map control. They've certainly been stopped in their tracks, and it was an essential kill from Kayak, really, because we've seen what happens when Rogue gets all their own way. Jonker just working hard from lobby there, trying to put the Alder to use on that extremely long angle into Blue Bar. Now, it looks like Rogue have managed to pressure their way into Sunrise, but it's taken them a minute to do it. Prano holding the long angle through to Courtyard, not going to catch his man, who is playing inside of the lobby at the minute. But where is that Oryx going? Virtue off towards the top floor. They need to be very careful here, Rogue, that they don't let themselves get caught out on the flank. They're very much being cautious of that.
Yeah, I think understandably so. You know, you've tried your kind of burst forward, and if Leon had found a kill or two inside of Sunrise, then suddenly the round's flipped on its head. I mean, say suddenly, very suddenly, it would have been so inside the first 30 seconds or so. But just not quite to be the case. And now in the 4 versus 5, they're like, okay, let's breathe a little bit. Get back on the drones. Find out what's going on around the map. It's why you just saw a couple of players, Prano and Crying a second ago, running around on those drones to see what's going on. And now there might be a challenge coming into Kayak, who's got himself in behind the main desk. Aces with a nade on side. If he gets this one right, this could be a freebie. And freebie it may well be. Kayak down to 15 HP. It's close, but no cigar.
Kayak just needs to keep himself alive for as long as possible there, because whilst that's the case, Aces is not going to push in through that door. It's going to take a lot of time before they can start finalising this push towards an execution for Rogue, because they're going to be very aware of Kayak in behind the desk. And as you can see, there's another 20 seconds has gone by, and he is still locked in position, still not dealt with. Jonker just helping him out with the Alder there. Crying does manage to shut Virtue down, but Citizen finds Prano in a little bit of a mid-round flurry. We come away 2 for 2. I'm not sure if they're aware that Kayak is still in behind the reception desk. We've got the Nomad of Rips trying to push forward, and he is going to be dealt with. It leaves Citizen with it all to do. He's up on the top floor as the Aruni, 1 versus 2, but Crying and Rips both low health. Diffuser on the ground. There is a real possibility for Citizen here. He's just trying to catch somebody out on the rotate. Kayak will be able to feed him a bit of information, let him know that there's still one in main lobby. 15 seconds left to go. Citizen, of course, has the ability to punch through soft surfaces, so can get the vertical if he needs it, but that smoke grenade could just be key there for Rogue, as it allows Rips to get inside the door and start planting. Citizen, he's held, but he finds the kill and the second. Perfectly played from Citizen to close out the round. And G2, they managed to lock out the first defence, and you said it yourself, Des. The trouble for them here could come in handling Rogue's attack. And they've just done it.
They have, albeit by the skin of their teeth, coming down yet again to the one man that we're always screaming about. It feels like Citizen, a big 1v2 in the post plant. Played it perfectly as well. Well, not even the post plant, it was halfway towards being a post plant, but didn't quite finish off, but played it patiently. And well, fortunately for him, unfortunately for Rogue, won the 1 versus 1 down towards Bathroom. And it was a simple closeout onto the diffuser from there. A bit of a scrappy mid-round at points. It did slow down after Leon lost his life in the early round. But outside of that, a close round, needless to say. So then, G2 draw first blood. They start with the first round in kitchen service. Now we step up into Penthouse and Theatre for our next site.
Interesting choice. We've not seen Hooker and Billiards or Sunrise and Blue Bar yet. G2 instead opting to go for the usual last choice site, really. It has changed a little bit, to be fair, since we've had the changes to Coastline, and we've got the double wall now instead of a window in there. That can be reinforced. You can hold on to VIP for a lot longer. We've certainly seen you'll get somebody playing in the top left corner of your screen now inside of VIP and just making an absolute nuisance of themselves.
Remember the Kayak 3K?
I do remember the Kayak 3K, that's exactly why I brought that spot up.
It's the room is so much more defendable. With it previously being a window, you know, you knock the window out and suddenly you contest inside there very comfortably. Now, it's a much different... No way. That is so cheeky. Now they might even find themselves with 2 onside. This one can be taken off the wall to see if it did fully electrify, and it did. I did think to myself, looking at it, he's playing a pretty... boring, dare I say. Seto, you remember before, what he'd do is reinforce the left one, open up the right one, step through, reinforce it from the other side, and get the electrification inside of the soft kind of destructible wall on the inside. But here, with this on the outside, I wonder if G2 pick it out, if they see it. don't think they
Twitch drone is certainly having a look there, but Crying just unable to find the electrical, and it can be tough if it's right up.
He knows it. He knows it's there.
He knows roughly where it is, but he just can't get an angle onto it at the minute, and he's searching, he's seeking, but he's not going to have any joy at the minute, and this could be a play and a half from Kayak on the Kaid, but let's not overlook the fact that we have lost Citizen already inside of the first 30 seconds. Ace is managing to shut the man down, so that does give Rogue a good advantage here, but you can see just how much they are wanting to deal with this double wall.
So cheeky. I imagine you can just spray it, surely, and get rid of it or something, but in their case, no. Maybe they got the indicator coming in that someone had run out. Finally, they have got rid of it now. Yeah, that did cause confusion for a good 60 seconds or so, but we'll take it. Now it's about trying to get the wall opened up, which they should be able to do. Kayak hightailing it out of there, backing away from inside of VIP. And after a good minute or so of difficulties, the attack can resume for Rogue.
A lot of time wasted though. It's the halfway mark in the round before that wall gets opened up. And whilst Rogue do have a man advantage, they need to be very aware of that clock. Now we've got the sledge down in the bathroom, just holding main stairs to prevent any rotations. Leon's just going to try to cut off anybody who tries to manoeuvre onto a flank. But are they aware of Hungry in hooker and billiards? That is certainly one to watch out for over on that side of the map as the round progresses now. Leon's looking for the vertical nade, and he finds it. Absolute beauty with the yellow ping onto Jonker, and that's going to give Rogue an even bigger advantage here. 1 minute left to go, and they find themselves 5 versus 3.
Two members of G2 scratched, battered and bruised as well. Kayak at about 75, Virtue down to 40, but he strikes first. Leon not having any eyes ahead of him means he will be taken down for free. Prano almost going down as well, but now he's finding himself in. Here comes the C4. We've seen this one a million times before. We'll finish off a low HP Prano as a second C4 comes ripping through, but Crying from inside Hall of Fame finds one more inside of Theatre. Okay, the 3 versus 2 for Rogue, and surely you're thinking it could be time. Aces with a great swing on. The 1 versus 3. Hungry left all alone. Hungry for kills, hungry for a win, but not going to find one as the Kobe over the top from Aces shuts the round down. A great round for Rogue.
Absolutely spot on from them on the attack. They managed to react well when Prano was taken down from underneath, and Crying got himself a great kill on the long angle onto Kayak. Crying's been going well the last couple of play days, and that certainly seems to be continuing here. Got himself in, picked up that diffuser, got it planted, or was certainly a long way towards getting it planted before the round was finished off. And Rogue, they're sure that they're here and meaning business, but that's not the end of the world for G2, Des. That was Penthouse and Theatre, not necessarily a site that they'll expect to win. They go now to hooker and billiards. If they can secure another couple, if they can come away 3-all on the half here, I think G2 are looking good at that point.
Still a long way to go for that one, Ace, of course. They've only gone through 2 rounds so far.
G2 attack, though.
You said...
I just really worry about the G2 attack. We know that defence isn't their problem.
I mean, if we're being optimistic about things, we saw some pretty good attacks coming out of Virtus Pro earlier on today. And you might be wondering, Des, why the bloody hell are you talking about Virtus Pro when G2 is the subject? Well, if you throw back, my dear friends, to the G2 versus Virtus Pro game on Cafe, if you recall, attacking was not the name of the game. Only one attacking round, and it was the one that won the game 7-5 for Virtus Pro. That was WTG charging forward like a madman. So, although you look at it now and say, well, G2 they didn't do too well on the attack, maybe things change, especially with how every single site on this map, bar Theatre, does border onto a window or external facing doorway, as opposed to, say, Villa, where there are none. Just as a small little fact to throw at you. So I think there's a bit more comfort for them on the attacking side, where they shouldn't stall out as much and things should be a little more direct. But we'll talk more around that when we get into the second half, Ace, because for now it's about Rogue and how their attacks can work, and for G2, I was about to say, and for Citizen, which at times you may well say it could be about how they can rebut that and push them back.
Looks like we're possibly going to see that early round aggression again coming out of Rogue. We've seen them taking challenges early on. I thought Leon was going to go straight to the hooker window there, but he doesn't. He just goes all the way up to the rooftop, which is going to give G2 a little bit of a reprieve in the early round, something they've not really had the good grace of over the first 2. Ryan has been in and out of Sunrise. He's going to get back on the Twitch drones and just look for potentially clearing out utility, but also looking to just point out any information, any locations that he can get on these G2 defenders. But right now G2 are certainly doing better than they have done in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, and a big hookah focus coming out here as well. Probably want to try and get themselves some control of the windows, and then obviously double window in their control now as well for the longer angle in. The smokes that can come through, the nades if they want to toss them all the way back in, you name it. They can to do quite a lot here to make the move. 2 frags come through, but in fact make it 4, all thrown out at once. It looks like 3. Sorry, I'm going to lie to you again. Leon the one finding the opener with it though, although the 2 did come through on towards the 90 side of things. Citizen, what a naughty shot onto Aces. Finds 2 from Aqua side. That's one way to shut a round down, but as we've said about this team so many times, Ace, how long can you rely on one man?
2 unbelievable shots there. First up onto the rooftop, never an easy angle to challenge, and then onto the man repelling on double window, but also very important kills there, particularly that double window. Ace is really commanding sight from that location, and that's not going to be the case anymore as he gets ripped off. Prano, he gets killed, Crying goes along with him, and all of a sudden G2 are in absolute ascendancy here on Hooker and Billiards, and as I suggested, they get themselves onto a more solid site, they get another win, and they're one step away from that even split on the half. G2 need to keep this momentum up, they need to keep rolling, get as many defensive rounds as you can, absolutely fill your boots at this point so that you take the pressure off that attacking half.
Yeah, better round there overall. I mean, again, I hate pointing it to one person, but with Citizen playing inside of Aqua, planting his feet and finding 2, that's doing a lot for your team already. You basically cleared out the entire south side of the map and removed any pressure coming in from Aqua or that double window, so the rest of the team can turn their attention skyward and look towards the northwest, out towards Hookah, and take the fights from there that they need to. So a good 2K coming in early on from Citizen to flip their fortunes in the round. We're going to return back down to Kitchen and Service, so we are going to avoid the bar site of Sunrise and Blue Bar. Kitchen Services we saw back in round number 1 fall in the way of G2, but it did come down to a big clutch coming out of Citizen in the 1 versus 2.
Pulse being brought along again by Hungry. We're going to be, as you say, downstairs in the kitchen site. Last time we saw him playing in behind the Sunrise bar, just trying to feed information back in. Lost an awful lot of health last time around, so I'm sort of interested to see if that's not the case this time, which I'm sure he will avoid it. Just exactly how does the round play out? What is Hungry doing in there? What do we get out of that position with the Pulse particularly? Obviously looking for the information on the push coming in through Sunrise and Blue Bar, and looking for Rogue trying to take control of that area of the map. But how exactly is he going to influence that? How exactly is he going to react to that? Obviously he's got a Nitro, but he's not going to want to get into sort of too many head-on gunfights realistically, and we'll see how long it takes for Rogue to force him out of there.
I'm kind of surprised at the little things here. Like, they've just reinforced the hatch down towards the south side, like inside of luggage. Realistically, when's an attacker ever really going to be able to use that for this site? I thought you'd have seen Virtue go for the reinforce on it and then look to make plays up it later into the round potentially. But with all the hatches they're reinforcing, it kind of restricts the Oryx, if nothing else, which is kind of curious. And speaking of the Oryx, you've already seen him charge through a couple of walls, muscle his way through, shatter it into splinters. He did change away from the Vigil back in round 1, if you recall, onto this Oryx. We've now seen it twice, and only on this site. I'm keen to know what the game plan is there.
Going to be some immediate progress in towards VIP. They've got that wall open quickly there. We're just using the Oryx dash there, trying to get through that door. Virtue won't have any joy as the Twitch of Crying just shifts himself over up and above that main door and just removes the angle for the Oryx to aggress onto him. He will continue holding the white stairs. Right now, Rogue, they're trying to get full control over the top floor so they can get inside of VIP and start opening up the floor. Leon will begin things in Penthouse, which, as you can see, is over bathroom and service, so it's going to start applying a little bit of pressure, particularly to the defender who is playing in there, which is Jonker on the Frost. He's looking to continue challenging onto service door, and whilst the Aruni laser gate will help him to prevent projectiles, he's moved forward beyond that point now, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad decision, although that was a bad decision, trying to take the peak onto Prano and being shut down by the Hibana on the sidearm.
Yeah, it's horrible as well that he gets the 2K, because that really gets this round moving. Citizen and Yonka taken offline again. Looking towards Big Ben on the fragging side of things is one that you'll be missing as the round progresses. A good challenge coming in from Yonka, I think, in terms of ideals, given that it's very likely the Hibana will be reloading. Only 19 rounds in the Type 89 means that after that first gunfight, he might be quite low, but just not quite there with the timing game. With all the pressure being applied from above, Leon has been swinging this hammer now for a solid 60 seconds. No one can comfortably play inside of sight, I imagine. which is why you might see one or two starting to scatter to the winds. In fact, Virtue, one of the only ones currently present.
That's the key. It's about moving defenders around, not allowing them to hold the preferable angles. We've got Virtue still in there, but he's having to play sort of just in and around the middle of sight where you're exposed from that soft wall, you're exposed from the door, and we can see them rotating now then. Here we go, Des, here we go. Virtue gets himself up the hatch. Can he have a big impact here or not? It's not looking great for G2. They're going to need something special out of him as the pressure's really starting to mount, and there it is. He's got himself up the hatch and he's found the kill onto the man above, but is it too little too late as Prano goes in and starts to get that plant down? The nade goes out from Aces, just thinking that there was a man still up above, but it's Rips who makes the real damage with a kill onto Virtue. It's all up to Kayak with about 20 seconds left to go and the diffuser down. It was too much to ask. Prano with a very big round on the Hibana.
Well, he planted, killed 3. Massive round, and I think there were fairly so some questions coming in for this team of picking up a guy who isn't a dedicated IGL role, right? Like, he filled that role where it was necessary. Sometimes we saw him stepping into support back when he was on Secret, but his role has always been known as like the Zofia player, the lurker for a team, the entry in more cases than not. And coming into this, there were fair questions of, is he the right IGL for this team? Is he the guy that will help bring structure to a Rogue team that otherwise has looked scattered at points, has looked uncoordinated? What I think it has given them, we're really still seeing quite a chaotic team, albeit some really good attacks coming out of them, is that you have a very competent gunner sat in the support position. Now, I don't want to start drawing comparisons this early on, but there is another support player that we talk about a lot whenever gunning is concerned, and it is Playday on the side of BDS.
I thought you were going to say me then, Des.
I mean, you as well. We saw your performance on Sunday, mate.
Everybody saw the 1v2, Des.
Oh, we did see
it had to come up at some point, didn't it?
It had to come up at some point, yeah. Ace broke his wrist and headshot me.
It's true.
After I domed you 4 times prior, but here we are.
Honestly, it was glorious.
Honestly wish I caught the replay of me just screaming at someone, being just like, don't you dare kill him, he's mine! Because they're like, it's coming Visa stairs, and I was like, Ace is a freebie, it's mine, it's mine. We get very competitive is the best way of looking at it. But back to the point, no, I was on about Playday in terms of comparison. It's too early to even get anywhere near drawing that comparison yet, but you are seeing a very competent gunner stepping into an IGL spot, and you're seeing a team transform that is now playing a lot better, find themselves third in the competition, so much so that it has forced a tactical timeout from G2 after just 4 rounds. They are down 3-1. I say it every time G2 come on screen. Take a look at who's doing the talking. Oh, 2-2, sorry. Look at who's doing the talking. And in that case, it was Citizen. As always, he's the one who often has something to say in those down situations. And he's like, boys, come on. Like, here's what we've got to do instead. Here's what we've got to play. Otherwise, I remember seeing him at SI, the one who was barking orders on stage when things weren't going well for them, saying, we need a shield here. Someone's got to do that. Very much being the solid IGL for the team that they need in those low motivation moments.
Exactly that. I think, G2 have taken the tactical time out there, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad choice. They're 2-2, and they need another round or 2 on defence here, like I said, just to alleviate that pressure of whatever's been going on with the attack. But so far, so good. They've been winning gunfights, they've been competitive, particularly winning gunfights have been Citizen and Virtue. And that's who you're looking towards to be picking up those kills. And, I've picked up on this previously. We've got Virtue backing Citizen up here, and this is what G2 fans will want to see, because it just starts to take that pressure away now. Interestingly, we're going to have Kayak going for that external Kaid electrical again, but he's also got one placed internally. He did this last time and took the internal one away, but
He's changed his mind.
Yeah, he's come back inside.
I think he's trying to bait them, because last time around they saw the door had been broken, they saw the debris at the bottom and thought, okay, well, he must have run out. See, now they're looking, because they're thinking, oh, he's done it again.
A bunch of time.
Exactly, so you'll take that one.
But
that's the problem.
When they nip inside and see it up on the rooftop, they know it's not there. He's going to place another one. They're going to have to keep an eye out for that Twitch drone coming back in, try and make sure that they get it cleared out. But Rogue should have a much easier time of opening that VIP wall. And as soon as it is open, it's time for G2 to scarper out a VIP and give up the control. And that was the beginning of the end for them last time.
Yeah, here much the same story, I imagine. It being a bit of a schoolboy error as well, knowing that you need to keep that electrical up, you need to deny vision of it on the inside, so they keep on looking on the outside. But very, very quickly cleaned up by Cryan, who's done a good job so far with these Twitch drones, by the way. Kept them mostly alive until the back end of a round. And here's in the spot where, having found the Electroclaw, well, the rest of the world is his oyster. C4 from below coming in. I've only a position slightly off to the left. Instead, maybe he could have caught himself 1 or 2, but there are still 2 of them hanging inside him. The nade comes through and does no damage.
I think the first one particularly maybe just took a little bit of a bounce off the ceiling before it detonated. There's not cleared out any of the soft floor in it. I think it was probably, we didn't see the view, but I think it was probably a couple of feet below the ceiling, maybe not cooked for quite long enough. But here comes the use of the pulse with Citizen, but there's only Jonker taking any damage until Leon does ultimately get downed and put out by the man himself, Jonker. So that damage will be all worthwhile from the sledge. Aces continues to try from underneath with the nades, but he's not going to find himself anywhere near a G2 body there, and they're certainly looking more comfortable in Penthouse and Theatre this time.
And tickled me that one as well. It's normally the total reverse, right, where it's a sledge above causes some trouble and a pulse throwing C4s from below. In this case, the absolute reverse, 3 of them playing upstairs and all just ganging up on him once that information was fed back by the pulse. So a good opening kill, one that we saw back, if you recall, in round 1 when Kayak found Leon relatively early into the round, and everything really slowed down from there. G2 eventually walking away the winner thanks to a Citizen 1 versus 2.
Rogue still not in a bad spot here. They've got the man on the double window. They've got control over Hall of Fame. They've forced everybody out of VIP. So they've got that north side of sight pretty much in their control. They need to be careful about the flank from Billiards, though. If they can hold this down, there is a potential to get inside of sight and put a plant down where it would be very difficult for anybody to challenge from Theatre. We can see Prano just getting down on his belly there and crawling his way through to get that diffuser down. But that just goes to show Des the lengths that he's going to, and a beauty at that from Kayak. Aces finds Citizen, but all the kills start to go in the favour of Rogue. Only 13 seconds left to go. Virtue downstairs, but with men moving in, they're going to get that diffuser back, and they're going to have the opportunity surely to start putting it down. And there it goes, Rips. He's going to try things again, but that's an important kill from Virtue. He's just won the round as 1v3, and the man gets the one kill that he needs from underneath. Take a bow, Virtue. That's what we've been waiting for. That's what we've needed, and that was his moment.
Absolutely enormous from Virtue. I mean, questions you'll be asking of Rogue. Why plant in front of a massive gaping hole of the floor where a C4 went off earlier on from G2 and shut down your planter in the first case, especially when there is no vision inside of Kitchen itself. And my God, does that come back to sting a fair whack. Unfortunate, but Virtue playing it perfectly. A good round from Rogue otherwise in a 3 versus 1 in the dying seconds. It still gets G2 up to their 3rd round. That's 2 rounds now. When you look at it on paper, that Rogue have lost out to the clock. The 1 versus 2 from Citizen in round 1 and the 1 versus 3 from Virtue just a second ago. You're going to be asking questions, that's for sure.
G2 cannot keep relying on clutching out 1v2s, 1v3s.
It makes me nervous.
It makes me very, very nervous, but it is going with them at this point in time. I mean, all I can think, we get the Nitro come out here.
Hole it opens.
That opens a big hole up, but I think there's a little bit of a panic on Rips' side. He goes down and I think realises there'd been a little bit of movement, if you remember, from the plant spot already. I think he'd already started to put the diffuser down and he relocates, and I think there was just a bit of uncertainty, but there's 2 seconds, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it gave Virtue everything he needed. And, you know, you got to remember, that clock ticks by quickly, Des. And in that situation, it's high pressure. Virtue plays it perfectly, and he just waits for the man to step in. He knows he's got no other option, and there's no time for Rogue to react. Great to see.
As we both learned on the weekend, being in those situations versus watching them, it's very easy to offer commentary. When you're actually in the pressure situation like that, the clock's running down, your teammates are screaming, plant, plant, plant. You've got to try and make that plant happen. On paper, you'd look back and say, why not go into Theatre, where you knew he was contending you from below, but it's one of those that they'll look back and say, okay, hey, learning experience for next time. You don't play Coastline all that often, because most teams get it banned away. Here comes the focus in towards the north side here. Drone work coming inside of Sunrise already. There is one trying to contend, and also one at the bottom of Cool Vibes, and I imagine you'll see one surely hanging around inside a kitchen. That is to be the case, so all 3 spread around here with 2 more playing up on the top floor.
And there's your man inside the kitchen. It's going to be the Malusa in service, technically, but certainly not far away. Going to be playing the position that you're talking about. We've got Kayak up on the top floor. Shield, he's going to be staying in Aquarium. Let me tell you that. He's got his shield. He's got his hatch reinforced below him. He's going to do everything he can to keep himself in that position now. Cryan is challenged inside of security. We get the Nomad coming in there. It's going to be Rips just deploying that air jab onto the inside of security door just to prevent the flank coming through to the office side of things, but they really are going to have to deal with Virtue from up above. It might not be the flank into office they need to worry about, Des. It could be the vertical angle.
It's the pressure. just a possibility of people starting to square around, and that's the case here with a single nade coming through. Tickles the edges of Virtue there. About 3 or 4 HP taken off him. Nothing to worry about all that much, but now that you know someone is playing downstairs, you might be wondering if more will come. No more will follow, as all 4 grenades have been consumed by the side of Rogue. Leon and Aces burning through them all. And finally, Leon gets lucky on the entry after losing so many of those, it feels like. We'll get one back. Prano going for the plant here. Leon being shut down. Can this now complete? Yes, it will. And into 4 versus 3 we go as the post plant sticks down. 40 seconds to play with, and it's by the looks of it kills going the way of Rogue until Virtue brings things back up to a 2 versus 2. And what can happen next? Kayak taken down by Cryon on the Twitch, doing a great job so far in the round. Virtue's left alone. No clutches this time round, I imagine, down to a slither of HP, and Cryon completes his 3 in the round, closing it out and giving Rogue round 6, 3-3 at the half ace.
There we go, 3-3. As I suggested, I don't feel that is a terrible half for G2 there. We know that coastline can be difficult to find those successful defences at times. They just now need to use that attacker buff, Des. They need to come in and they need to start finding these aggressive attacking rounds that G2 have just looked uncharacteristically uncoordinated.
Sorry, mate, that's me every single sentence.
It was difficult, that one, wasn't it? Uncharacteristically uncoordinated.
I've got a great one for you.
In previous Playdays.
I agree with you. We've got 30 seconds, right? Here's a fun one for you. Genuine, unique New York.
Genuine New York. No, that is a tough one, isn't it? Genuine, unique New York. There we go. I got it.
Keep on saying that gets you. Another one. Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
That one you got, but I heard you starting to...
You see, this is my profession, Des. I've got to be able to get my tongue around these things quickly.
Bet chat will be having a field day with that one. There's some other ones like... They're only getting taught as a kid. It was, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry. Like, keep saying that over and over, and I was like, that one's not that bad. And
we used to call them tongue twisters.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah.
I can't do the pickle pepper one. I saw a guy, the world's fastest speaker, 11 words per second he can do.
That's crazy.
You can't understand the word he's saying, naturally, but you can tell the words are there. And I'm just like... I speak fast. Not that fast.
We'll see how exciting this round gets and whether we can get Des up to 11 words per second.
I'm already up to 11 ace. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Turn it up to 11, Des. You know how I like it. G2 versus Rogue. 3-3 at the half. And we have got a potential humdinger on the cards as they go into the second. Can G2 keep the momentum that they've found on the defence? Big game for Virtue so far today. I've been waiting to say that, Des. And I've been waiting to shout this guy up. And he's giving me every reason to today. Coming in on the Jackal, let's see some entry, let's see some aggression, and let's see some more Virtue magic.
Feel like we've got to roll out that it's been 84 years sort of thing, because it's been a long time since we've seen Virtue at that level as well, right? 7-4 today, great. We missed the guy that was dropping 15 kills a map with Citizen when they were going 30 kills between them against teams like Virtus Pro on Consulate, you know? Just running teams ragged as a duo, and that has been quiet lately. We've been waiting to see him step back into things. Hopefully today is the beginning of that, but sadly one game does not maketh a man, nor does it maketh a player. We'll have to see if that remains consistent across a number of play days before we can get too excited. But let's look at what's making us excited in the round itself, Ace. You're seeing them laser gates coming out as always, spread across that top floor. And ready for the side of G2, it has been a slow start in the round, where we're used to seeing Leon entering into an engagement in the first 30 seconds. So far, not a single HP point has been deducted from either side. Both teams avoiding the fights and Cryon. He's going to be keen to stick to that mantra by the looks of it, backing himself away safely out of VIP now that he's wasted a good chunk of time.
Interesting from Jonker there. He started opening that VIP wall with his Maverick blowtorch, but then just backed away from it and chose to go to the drone instead, and it could have been life-saving for him as Cryon then gets forced away in the challenge, and it's going to allow Jonker the time that he needs to start getting that wall open. Citizen with a big opener onto Aces, who's going well so far today, leading his team in terms of kills, and that is not a bad start for G2 and for Citizen. He looks for the vertical nade, not going to find any damage onto anybody from Rogue, but 5 versus 4, 1 minute 10. G2 looking okay on the first attack.
But the drones, Ace, the drones! They've got like one left. There's one still in back pocket from Kayak here, not even out in field, and Hungry has still got one alive, but that is it. You do have the Iana to help you, but I always get nervous when we have over 60 seconds left and you basically have no drones left on side. You know, you're basically playing blind. You're not sure where these players are moving to, and Rogue aren't really the kind of team to sit still. There are a couple of them dancing around bars and around cool vibes here, just keeping themselves warmed up and not sitting in one spot for too long, but it's going to require inspire a burst of aggression out of G2. And as that clock runs down on one of the smallest maps going, you start asking, when do the kills come through? You have 5 frags, now 4 in back pocket. Surely you find some kills, and that's the one we were looking for. Leon picked up from below.
And that's how you find them. Citizen getting a second. Jonkers in getting the diffuser down. Nothing's going to stop him as Virtue with another pivotal kill onto Prano from the double window. Citizen with a third on the round. Rips manages to get the trade, but surely too little too late as he finds himself 1 versus 4, pushing back up the cool vibe stairs. He's smoked out. He's got everything up against him. He looks for that external peak, puts shots onto Virtue, but will not kill him, and that allows Virtue to stay on the rappel. Shut down now, but with only 15 seconds left to go, he needs 7, of course, to be able to disable the diffuser. Shut down by Kayak on the upside down rappel, and that is going to be G2 taking their first attacking round, and that puts them in the lead 4-3.
Say it with me, Ace. G2 can attack. We've seen it come together, and such a good round as well, to give full credit to them. You know, outside of Citizen tickling himself with his first nade, the second one landing a critical kill, doing a great job of getting the surround effect on. He was pressuring from below in Sunrise to make the players in Hookah uncomfortable. The plant came in from Aqua side. They had cover from the window. Virtue doing a magical job from double window to shut down the bar player.
Important.
That was the most important. Otherwise, that plant is interrupted, and they've got to reset everything all over again. Really nice coming out of G2, and I'm glad to see one coming together. As said, though, 1 round, 1 game does not maketh a man, maketh a team, maketh a player. Got to make it happen a second time in a row. And here's something I thought I'd never say. We're seeing Citizen on the Amaru.
Well, there you go. We'll keep a close eye on that, see how it pans out. Every time I see Amaru on coastline, I end up bringing up the same thing that I love seeing Amaru used in the late round, when you've got all this noise going on, all this craziness, zipping through a window and just pick up kills when least expected. But we just don't see it used at that point of the round too often. It's all about the beginning, get in there quickly. But people are expecting it at that point sometimes.
I mean, Rask.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just
yin and yang styles of playing the Marus.
There's more than one method sometimes.
I remember there's a great video of old Chaos, back to Renewals, Veto, Secretly, all that lot when they were playing together. When they were playing on this map, I think it was Renewals left in a 1 versus 4, and he's on the Amaru, and they released a comms video where it's him just like zipping from like wall to roof and up and down again. He's going, woohoo! The whole way, just screaming in comms. I'm like, this guy doesn't want to win the round.
Oh, what a nade from Kayak. Take a bow. We are seeing some truly magical moments coming out of this G2 roster today, Des, and that is just another one on the pile.
Both teams with nades today are absolute freaks. What is going on? We're getting at least 1 around, sometimes 2. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll end up seeing...
I'm not sure I've seen one from that distance before. That was from like ruins onto Aquador. That was something else. In goes Citizen, zip straight into luggage. He's going to be challenged and take a few points of damage. I'm not sure where that came in from. And Leon and Crying managed to find their feet in the round, and they take down 2, leaving us now in a quick swing. Rogue with the advantage, 4 versus 3.
Yeah, a bit of craziness there. You have the gridlocks coming out onto the white stairs to make sure no one could run up behind Citizen as he was pushing his way forwards. That cover coming in from the white window, but still, as you say, almost getting tagged out. Not quite sure exactly where from. I think it could have been out towards Aqua, but either way, he's in, and he means business. And this is all inside the first minute and 15 seconds, let's not forget. But just like when Rogue found themselves down a number in the first half, things now need to slow down a bit for G2. Back on those drones, all 3 players left alive, currently getting out across the map. And good news is, Ace, they've still got all 6 drones left alive here from the available players, so they're not operating at the same information deficit they had in the previous round. This should look a little bit more coordinated. The only real downside, I guess, for them looking at it is they are down from 6 smokes to just 2. Sorry, down from 4 to 2, because that's the UI bug coming through. Virtue, of course, with 2 still in back pocket. Oh, Leon.
So
you lucky
close.
soul.
Very, very lucky. With 3 toxic babes in pocket, let's not forget, Leon needs to be very careful about losing those. And it's Yonka who's going to lose something. He's going to lose his life, Des, as Rips managed to find the kill. 4 versus 2 now. Rogue fighting back and fighting back hard. They've got themselves a good advantage. Hungry takes a lungful before dipping back away. He's inside the bathroom and looking to challenge, but the diffuser's down in no man's land, as is Leon Gids. He is down but not out, and it's unlikely he's going to be collected. He's on half health, and pings are coming out just to let the team know exactly where he is, but it's not going to matter. There's no way Rogue take the risk of trying to pick him up, surely. Hungry finishes him off, and that is going to leave us now 3 versus 2. Hungry just looking to bait out by putting that diffuser down, but he might have an opportunity to stick it here.
Quite possibly. It's all about the angles being set up by both teams here, but the spray through the wall from Rogue. Citizens entirely alive inside the service, knows that there's men surrounding him on every single side, out towards lobby, out towards kitchen. It's not a pretty affair, needless to say. I know he's Superman, but I don't think even he can clutch a 1 versus 3 with 10 seconds left to play. Tries to step his way forward, trying to see what he can find, but Rips has ripped them a new one, it feels, from inside of security. Nothing more to be said. Rogue will take the round, and things are all evened out at 4 versus 4 and 4 Ace.
This one's going the distance, I tell you now. We're going to see all 12 rounds of this before we can find a winner, because these two teams are coming in extremely evenly matched. Rogue, they're still playing well. They're winning the gunfights, and they're doing as much the same as we've seen over the last couple of play days. But G2, they've finally shown up, Des. We're starting to see a little bit more out of them. They're just making you believe that they can come in and win rounds, and that's the big difference for me. I look at their previous performances the last couple of weeks, and I just haven't believed. I haven't thought in rounds, yep, G2 can turn this one out, whereas now, time after time, you think they might just be able to do this and take it away. 4-4 now, both teams fighting for their lives inside of this one. Let's not forget, this is another one of those huge stakes matches in the scramble for those top 4 places.
It's a bit of a war for, the side of G2 to fight their way back in. I think even at the spot we're in right now, Na'Vi are just 2 points above G2 as it stands, and Doki earlier on, a little bit downtrodden. He was like, "Oh, Major might, it might be hard for us to push into." Now there's still every chance. They're only, 1 point, 2 points behind the place.
Can always be done.
This is the thing. It's so ridiculously close. Like if G2 were to win this game, suddenly there's 7 teams all fighting their way in. It's going to be chaotic.
That's it. G2 win this, they're on 8 points. And then the teams that are in the current major spots are on 9, 10 and 11. So there's still there's still enough games to go. There's points to be had. There's 3 games left yet, and believe me, it can all change. G2 are going to struggle in head-to-heads a little bit because they've had a few poor results. But if they can get themselves within 1 point of a major spot, depending on Vitality's result at the end of the day, that is massive for G2.
And not to suggest too much, and I think I predicted against them for Thursday, but G2 play heroic in the next game. You're looking at that and saying suddenly there could be...
You don't want to get presumptuous, but that could be 6 points within a super week.
Assume this is like a game. It's all calculated on paper and it's not played out with the wild swinging, odds that we have in Siege, it feels like. But if G2 go on to beat heroic and get 6 points from this game, 6 from the next. 6 points across 2, 3 from this one, 3 from the next.
Des is just dishing out points here. He's like, forget the rule book.
6 points for you.
6 points for you.
6 points
for you. G2, you've done it.
Let's just bend the rules just for G2. It's the way that it should be, apparently. But no, they are far from out of the major, despite how dire it looked a couple of weeks ago for them. So let's see how things play out for them today. Of course, that means nothing. It means toffee, unless they can get the 3 points from this game. And Rogue are going to be the one standing before them saying, no, we want to basically guarantee our spot there with BDS, who are currently sat on 14 points, in case you are curious, sitting pretty in top place. Penthouse and Theatre going to be the next site that we step into, and understandably, there's a little bit of a focus from some of the G2 players to start out towards the west and deal with those. Oh, that is free B! My God, he's got one in a raffle bin. What's that all about?
Kayaks finds Rips, Yonka finds Aces, and all of a sudden G2 have found their mojo, Des. They're coming in here with real aggression, and they're finding kill after kill. 5 versus 2, less than halfway through the round. Leon and Prano have got their backs to the wall here. They are in trouble as far as this round goes. It's going to be a tough one for them. Now then, Prano just sneaking in through kitchen. There is a drone in front of him. Does he take it out? Does he not? He doesn't know the man is there in Sunrise, or at least not for certain. Forces him to dip away from that angle and just try to find something a little later in the round.
A little later in the round is going to have to come soon. I imagine G2 really want to start piling on the pressure, but also consider in a 5 versus 2, you don't need to panic. Get on the drones. Use the time that you've got available to you. It's something that we saw Virtus Pro do incredibly well against Na'Vi earlier on today. They'd find the opener, they'd push their way forward, but they wouldn't rush it. They'd clear out anything blocking their way and then think about a perfect execute with all things under consideration. And surely it should be the same here. They've got the track onto one of the last 2 members. This is not a spot that Prano wants to be in. He's being watched from the window. Someone could peek him now and probably take him down, but I think he might just get away with it by the looks of it. Hit by the Nomad. Surely. Hungry. Surely you see him. He's managed to get away with it. Not that it matters because his teammate's been taken down. Prano is left alive, and here comes Hungry on the window again, missing a couple of shots, but it's going to be a flawless coming through for G2. And this game heats up even more with every single round, Ace.
Prano just painting himself into a corner at the end there. There was nowhere left to go, and Hungry finds him on the vertical angle. G2 take the lead once again, 5-4, and also, unsurprisingly, Rogue come in with that tactical timeout, and this is not so much through choice, I don't think, as much as G2 forcing them by putting the backs to the wall.
It's one of them wild things that I look back on. This is a total off-topic while the timeout's coming through. I said a freebie in the raffle bin. I have no idea what a raffle bin is. I'm pretty sure I meant a charity bin.
Yeah, it's a little. I think you would.
Have you ever heard of a raffle bin?
Well, no, but you say raffle bin, and I think of the fairground. You'd have a tombola. I think that's probably just a UK thing.
Round.
So it's just full of. It's like a big thing full of raffle tickets, and you pull one out, and if your number matches what's on a prize, you win the prize.
That's something to do with being free. At least a charity bin implies cheap or free.
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah, tombola must be a thing around the world.
I don't know.
It must be, surely.
We'll put it on Breakfast with the Brits.
Is tombola known around the world? Well, if we interview a couple of players and do another quiz, because Nathan Doki was so bad at it the first time, maybe we can ask a couple of questions about that. What's your understanding of British culture? Do you know what a tombola is? I cannot buy for a second that is only a British thing. It can't be.
I'm sure we'll find out.
It just can't be.
I'm sure
please,
we'll find out.
If someone knows around the world what a tombola is, please tweet one of us.
I mean, I have just explained what it is, to be fair, Des.
Yeah. Well, now they might know.
If you were aware of it prior.
Prior to Ace's perfect description of what a tombola is, you even describe what it is. It's like an 8-sided sort of thing. Medics have just said we're making up words. I don't think it's made up words.
It's like a box that's...
It's got a crank on it, and
you can turn the whole thing around.
And it's got a door on one side.
Yeah, so you've got a load of raffle tickets, which is just tickets with numbers on them, so they'll have hundreds of tickets in there.
It's like a washing machine.
So you can spin it round to mix it all up, and then you pay your money, they open the little door, you take a few tickets, and there's a table with all prizes laid out with matching numbers on, and if you open up the matching number, that's the prize you win. That's it's a little game of chance, if you will.
One of the prizes available in this tombola 3 points?
I would imagine so, and G2 are looking like they might have just pulled that ticket out, Des, as we load into round 10. It's 5 versus 4 in favour of G2, and they certainly look like they might be finding their resurgence that is needed. And I tell you what, we've already said G2 could find themselves 6 points out of this week, and with the way things have gone so far, if they get 6 points out of this, find themselves on 11, and all of a sudden fighting for those major spots in the last 2 games, G2 are going to be pinching themselves, Des, because they're going to think that they've been dreaming.
Well, Rogue are here to play Night Terror to them, I think, as well. They're trying to keep this one shut down. And it's worth noting the way the rounds have progressed. Rounds 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 have gone the way of G2. Rounds 2, 4, 6, 8 have all gone the way of Rogue. Now, I'm not really a superstitious person, to be honest with you, Ace, but something tells me this could go 5 and 5. Can you guess who'd win the next round in that case if all odd numbers go the way of G2? Look, it's almost coming to life. It's like I've just said it.
It'd be G2, wouldn't it?
And then who wins round 12, Ace?
Quick maths for you, Des. Rips manages to get hungry. And I'll give you some more quick maths. That leaves us in a 5 versus 4 with Rogue coming in and getting... I know, tell me about it. Rogue coming in and getting themselves the entry. Kayak will not know just how close he came. I think he gave the man a bit of a haircut down in office there, but doesn't manage to get the kill. 1 minute in, G2 1 man behind. Leon's going to hold on to this for his life at the moment. He's got his corner station in there. He's going nowhere. Aces, he takes Virtue's life for fun as he finds a nitro onto the Jackal. 5 versus 3, and Rogue, they're fighting back for this one.
Oh, they really want it as well. I mean, the 2 kills you found, surely if you're Rogue, you're looking at that and saying, come on, boys, we can win this now. We've done it. We've done the hard work. We've killed 2. We've completely quelled the momentum of the attack until Citizen does things like this and just swings. And I guarantee you Leon's not too happy about that. A bit of rivalry between the Essex boys. Because he shut down for Citizen, and now, the toe shot. Oh, we've seen these before. No, why did you shoot the toe?
Your chance, Kayak. You missed you gotta take it while it's there.
It's a freebie. People pay loads for shots of feet as well, but you didn't go for it. Either way, he gets away with it, and Leon, still being the one down, leaves it in the 4 versus 3 for Rogue. There's still just over 60 seconds to play. Surely not, the G2 can walk away this one with the win.
Jonker just going to open up the double window there, potentially giving the rotation option if he needs to go out of there and down to the blue window. But for the time being, he's going to be on the aqua bout. Kayak's still working these vertical angles, but not having any joy as of yet. We can see that Rips and Prano are both forced back into Sunrise. We've got the crying of Ella of crying in the kitchen there, just trying to hold on for the time being, Rogue. They're playing this pretty passively, which is absolutely fine. The time's ticking away, 30 seconds left to go, and the onus is all on G2 to make something happen. Toxic Babe Canister comes out to prevent that push in to try and get the diffuser down for Jonker. Next kill, going to be very important, and there you have it. It's Citizen down Des. There's not going to be an opportunity to pick him up.
Oh, there is.
Surely not.
He's ran away.
Crawl to the corner.
Oh, please.
He's waiting on the cooldown.
Oh, no!
He's just watching it fall apart.
He is.
It's agony.
They can't do anything. Okay, GT, they're throwing it. Never mind. They've just thrown it. It's done. It's that. That's the round done and dusted. There is no way. Kayak pulls us back in the 1 versus 3 with 2 seconds to play. And it's almost like the maths hold up pace. Quick maths. They've won. Rogue, this is, have won every single odd-numbered round. And G2 have won every single odd-numbered round. And even-numbered round to Rogue. Tell you what.
I like how we keep shouting quick maths, like it's not actually very basic maths.
We can't count odds and evens.
We just keep going in, going quick maths, quick maths.
That one wasn't so.
And we're talking about the difference between the number 10 and 11.
Yeah. Look, they're winning alternating rounds. Okay, let's avoid numbers and just say alternating rounds.
I did get in my ear that the corner station was only on 50% cooldown, so absolutely no way that Citizen was getting revived from it. I'm not saying anybody should have tried to pick him up. That would an absolute death sentence at that point. But the round was done at that point. Just as he was coming in, I said the next kill is vital in this case, and it really needed to go to G2 if they wanted to get the round. They didn't manage to secure it. That leaves us tied up at 5-5. Whew, this one is anybody's.
I'm bouncing around, mate. I'm enjoying this one. Not often I say that about a game of Coastline, but this one is feeling like it could go all the way down to the wire. And
you've just got to embrace the chaos. If you want to enjoy Coastline, you just have to embrace the chaos.
I'm having a good time, mate. What can I say?
That's all you got to do.
We're making jokes about Tombola and all sorts. It's one of those wild kind of days where I never thought I'd spend time on an official broadcast talking about a Tombola barrel, but here we are.
You never know where it's going to lead.
You just don't know. You just don't know. But we do know that this round is heading into Kitchen and Service. Seen this one a couple of times. Already won in round 8 by the side of Rogue. So if you're looking on paper and this one thinking that one could potentially break the, I suppose, flow of the game so far, this could be the one. Otherwise, it's that 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 the whole way back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, Kitchen, it was won by Rogue back in round 8.
Yep.
Even after the Kayak opener. Kayak came in, G2 had the man advantage and Rogue was still able to lock it down. So, as you say, if there's any site where they can turn it around and actually give themselves the advantage here in the second half, it is now. And what better time to do it than getting yourself that match point opportunity? This is the thing. This could be, actually, Des, I don't want to pile too much on this, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. In for a penny, in for a pound. This could be make or break for G2's season, realistically. Lose this now, after this level of fight, after the performances of the last few play days, I think at that point they're completely broken. I think you also start looking at the league table and you've got 3 games left for G2, 9 points available. They are 4, 5, possibly 6 behind those major spots. You start saying there's too much to do and not enough wiggle room to do it. They're reliant on too many other results. So for me, this is make or break now. Citizen, he's found himself a nade kill, crying, manages to find one onto Kayak. 4 versus 4. We've got a battle ensuing now.
Do we know if we're catching stats behind the scenes on method of kill yet?
Yes, we are.
I would love to know, after this game, how many nade kills have been delivered, because I swear we've seen at least 1 per round.
I'm going to say, I think it's at about 4 at the minute.
It's more than 4.
4 or 5.
Guarantee you it's more than 4. I reckon we're probably up towards 6 or 7 at this point. There've been double kills in a couple of rounds from nades as well. So it has really stacked up. It has been quite literally a really explosive game between the two, including C4s, of course, coming back off the other side. So production, if you can get us those nade kills, that would be much appreciated. Let's see how the setup goes on the top floor. Though we've seen this one a million times. Ace for G2. It's about getting control of the top floor and looking to do some work. Of course, the main threat to that vertical attack is going to be that your sledge is gone. The one that you look to do all the work for you, removed. So instead, you'll probably turn towards a bit of ITA work coming out of Virtue on the Jackal, but really that's all you got going for you.
See Virtue just picking up the footprints of the Jaeger of Crying there, but he's not going to be pinged out for too long if you're unaware of how the Inox scanner works. So Jackal, the colour of the footprint dictates how old it is. So if it's nice and bright red, it's brand new, and you'll get more pings than if it's green or blue, which means it's a lot older and about to disappear. So Crying won't have been inconvenienced for too long by those peaks. Now then, he's looking to get on the flank, Des. He wants to get aggressive in towards Blue Bar here, but he's just very aware of that hatch for the time being. The Nomad of Hungary needs to be careful on that Blue Bar window, though, lest he find himself being peaked. Now, Virtue does have a goo mine in his leg. He's just allowed it to do a couple of ticks of damage. He didn't want to stop and take it out, whatever he was doing at that moment in time. There you go. Citizen manages to find a kill onto Aces. Crying is forced to move after the Jackal scan comes in. Citizen finds another, going big once again. 14 kills on the day. Crying is the last one alive. He's flashed out in office. He makes the challenge onto the door. It'll be unsuccessful. successful as Hungry's gone round to the blue bar window. All he needs to do is stop Crying rotating back across. There's one in main lobby as well. The diffuser's down, and this round is surely over for Rogue right now. 1 versus 4. Crying just trying to find his first 1v1. He needs to break this up as best as he can, but the air jab is there, and so is Citizen, and G2 take the round and the match point opportunity.
I tell you what, looking down the lists here, I'm just like, this is ludicrous. Round 1, Citizen 1v2. Round 7, the Citizen 1v3. Round 11, the Citizen 4K. It's crazy how much work one person can do in a game, but we're still sticking to that same old story, Ace, where the even rounds are being won by Rogue and the odd ones by G2. If we follow that trend now, we get all the way to overtime. If it changes now, G2 walk away with a sorely needed 3 points, but like you can see in the top right of your screen, it doesn't really do much to Rogue, at least not yet. They hold on to second place. It doesn't mean other teams can't jump over them throughout the course of the day, but they're still sitting pretty up there in that top 4 currently. Now then, they're going to be going to hooker and billiards this time around. We last saw it in round 7, and G2 got the win, Des. Do you know how I know G2 got the win without checking? Go on then. Quick maths. It's an odd-numbered round. round 7 was a G2 round. Coming in, can they book the trend now on a site that they've already been able to get an attacking win on once? Rogue, you got to find something different here. This is the moment now. And I've got to talk about the utility hero himself in Hungry. I was talking about him being like the augment on a gun in a game, changes it from a shotgun to a burst fire to single fire, whatever you choose. He brings things like the line which was banned away against him in this game. Very smartly so, I think, by Rogue, so they can play their own game a little bit better. He's got things like the Monty, the Capital, the Ying in his back pocket. Now, I'm not suggesting this will be an out-and-out rush, but they are really backing everything but behind, slowly controlling the roamers with the Jackal of Virtue, and then looking for a big execute, making use of the Ying with the smokes they can toss in, the nades they've got on side. They've got 6 frags, don't forget, and 6 smokes to play, or 4 smokes to play with, again, UI bug. They should be in a great spot when it comes around to the execution point. Rogue needs to get out and be disruptive early in the round, or they will lose when the execution begins. Leon just getting peppered through the soft wall there. There were shots actually raining in through the blue bar barricade, through the soft wall to Sunrise, and finding their mark, taking almost half of the health away from the Jaeger, and it's just forced him out of position. He's had to dip away from that. He's not too keen to try and hold on to Sunrise, and Citizen's now been able to get in, get established, and that is at least partial map control being gained by G2 as they continue the downstairs push. Prano's going to take damage right now, Des. It's starting to scream G2. You just feel that momentum is with them. It's rolling, it's building almost like a clap of thunder that's going to be coming in, and he doesn't find his man with the vertical nade. Somehow Leon just manages to continue fighting in this one. Oh, they're still going for him again, but he's already moved far out of there, and I think they're aware of it. There's a drone running around upstairs at this point, just trying to find where his bats away to, but he is on solid concrete, at least for now. Steps back inside, surely not. There's a grenade coming his way very, very soon, you'd hope towards. Virtue the one doing the calling on this one, but back out again in the hallway. Just constantly playing this nice and safe so he can't be grenaded comfortably from below. Smart play for Leon to dance around, but G2 are slowly forcing them back, and that is when you've got to be fearful of that Ying play coming in from the south side as Hungry ascends out towards the white stairs. They need to pinch onto Rips, who's holding inside a luggage, and at this point, he's very trapped in there. Certainly is trapped. He's going to have to fight his way out, potentially. There is a man just outside of theatre who can support, but the repelled G2 player, there you go, that's how you get yourself out of dodge, Des. You just punch out the hatch that is below you. Leon uses his health, but Kayak finds the trade, 4v4, and this is what it all comes down to. 12 rounds of course line we've had so far. We're into the final minute. It's 4 versus 4. It is even Stevens right now. G2, they are in position to start thinking about getting this diffuser down, but they really need some kills first. They really need to get a handle on Rips. He could be a big party spoiler for them, but you just feel like Citizen's aware of his presence underneath, but I'm not too sure. He's not moving to challenge. He has done. He's got him. Kayak is in, getting the diffuser down. Out comes the Toxic Babe. It's going to be too late. Kayak is able to stick it, does exactly that. Takes a lot of damage, but that doesn't matter. Cryan's trying to fight his way back in. Kayak somehow gets himself a kill. 2 versus 2. They've got one on the rappel. That will not be a successful nitro. Hungry is a breath away from death. Can they get him? Cryan, he's doing this. I don't think that they can interfere with this. They're looking to get it. Cryan's going to stick it. And we're going to overtime, Des, in an unbelievable defuse from Cryan. This is one of the games of the stage. That's just one of those that you look at and think with all the effects going off, there was no awareness that he snuck his way into the corner and he was tucked a little bit too tight. It's one of those, just follow the narrative, Ace, all the way through, all the evens to Rogue. It's like we're playing a game of bingo. It's starting to feel like. I love it. We get to see Rogue starting out on the defense. At this point, it doesn't really matter which side you start on, where you play, take your pick. But at least we get a continuation of what we saw in the second half. Kitchen and Serve is going to be the site that we step into. And for now, at least, the crazy antics of things like the Ying have been parked.
Whew, I think we all just need a bit of a breather after that round because this one is absolutely crazy. These players must be just as exhausted. They're really going through the ringer here. None of them are going to leave anything on the field here, Des. They are giving it all.
Keep talking. I'm going to drink a water, mate.
And you deserve one. You deserve one, Des, as do we all. But 5 versus 5, of course. We're going to be getting into the action phase very soon. 6-all on the scoreboard. We are in overtime. So it will now be the best of 3 rounds between these. Whoever can win 2 rounds. And just by the weight of momentum, just how the pattern has gone through this game so far, it's a marginal, I wouldn't even call it an advantage. You can't call a pattern an advantage. G2 are on attack. It's been 3-3 in both halves. There's no attacking or defensive benefit to either of these teams. The only thing that we can say is that every single round so far has gone back and forward. G2 Rogue, G2 Rogue. If we follow that pattern, G2 win this and they win the 3rd overtime round to win it on the 15th. But there's a lot of time for that to change yet.
Plenty of time for that still to change. I think an edge just got popped out by Prano as well as he was charging his way down towards Office. Fairly so, I think, wants to give himself some support here, potentially opening up that hatch, enable someone to drop down if he does need that support a bit later on. Rip's the one looking to contest early on inside of Sunrise, so it's all panic stations or battle stations, I guess, for Rogue. As we've seen repeatedly, they do like contesting quite aggressively out towards the southwest side of the map when they're defending in Kitchen and Service or out towards Penthouse and Theatre. But G2 have had their numbers a few times, and it starts again here because Citizen, he's just called that number. Crying taken out at the start of the round.
Crying unable to answer as Citizen finds a big start for G2 as he has done so many times today. Kayak and Virtue deserve their shout though. Des stepping up with 18 kills between them. I mean, Citizen's nearly done that on his own, but that's not the end of the world. We see teams that have that sort of success. The point is that the backup is there from his other players, and right now if they want to back him up even more, it's the time to do it. Ace is looking to get aggressive here. He knows that Virtue's playing down underneath this window and finds himself a freebie with a headshot onto Virtue to level things up. 4 versus 4 at the half.
That's a good one as well. I mean, you really should have been expecting that too. You thought there'd be a drone up there, but apparently not. Ace is doing some damage. Is he coming back for seconds? Does he want afters, Ace? I don't think he does. Instead, just rotating his way through sight. And here they're extending a bit of a utility as well. Smoke for a frag grenade coming through, just to keep them away from that kitchen window at least for a few seconds. And here's Aces doing a real marathon here around the entirety of Coastline. It feels like has managed to get himself up towards the northeast side instead, and still being that troublemaker on the top floor.
Citizen just trying to hold a long angle through main lobby into the bathroom and beyond there, but he's not going to find anybody just yet. Rips is sort of gently, tentatively pushing back in towards kitchen, but needs to be very careful with the presence there inside of Sunrise. It could be dangerous for him, as you say. He gets himself out of dodge and he's going to find himself on the Cool Vibes stairs, just looking to halt that push across the corridor from Sunrise.
2 drones left here at about that 40-second mark. And Kayak again with one in the back pocket. I don't know if that's a bug, so I don't want to jump on him for it, but I've seen that now in 2 or 3 rounds where he's got 1 dead and 1 still sat in back pocket. And I'm always wondering, why isn't that out watching a flank or being used somewhere? Not too sure. Here it's going to be a push coming in from the Sunrise side, with everyone starting to square up. Rips is holding. They go for the double spray down, but Hungry finds Leon on the push through. They've made their way inside of sight. Is this G2 looking to potentially try and buck the trend here a little bit? 2 kills come through, and it's going to carry on the way that it has always been, with G2 taking the odd numbered rounds. I don't know what superstitious rubbish is going on, but it's looking magic. Aces stepping his way forward, sees the next, but Hungry gets the spray down. G2 with round 13. They move up to match point, but we're going into an even numbered round, Ace.
I don't think the players are going to be thinking too much about that. They're just going to be thinking about the even-numbered points that they can gain from winning this. The winners here will take 2. The losers will walk away with 1. They'll get something at least as a consolation. But G2, you've already had a match point opportunity. You weren't able to clinch it. You weren't able to shut it down. Rogue, they fought back. Can they do the same again? G2 effectively, though, Des, they are going to have the lion's share of opportunities here. They're going to get 2 bites at the cherry to close this one out. They get a chance now, and even if Rogue win, they still have another match point opportunity to go at.
You just don't know which way any round's going to go, unless you're entirely superstitious, which I'm pretty sure at this point I'm starting to feel. With how rounds
I'm starting to believe it.
With how back and forth. If we go to round 15...
I truly believe it at this
If we go
point.
to round 15, then on paper, G2 win. That's the way things have played out today. But the thing is, the one thing that wasn't necessarily considered, and that is the constant flip between attack and defense, of course, that you get in overtime. It's not as consistent as just going between rounds, so it could find us closing out here. I don't know at this point, but I'm believing in some kind of magic as it sets up.
So we're going to be heading on to the G2 defence. As you've said, we do flip sides every single round. It's going to be hooker and billiards. Now then, G2 defended hooker back in round 3. I can hear you asking me, Ace, did they win? Well, Des, it was round 3. Quick maths, quick maths. They did. G2 won. It was an odd numbered round. They were able to get the win in hooker. And that was even with Leon starting things out with a great kill onto Kayak. It didn't matter. We've had so many of these rounds go against that entry kill. Teams able, particularly on the defence, to fight their way back from it. So G2, they're not going to be rattled too much if an opening kill comes in for Rogue, but they just can't let it get away from them. They need to find that trade.
Absolutely. I was looking at the lineup as well and seeing if it really very much changed. The answer is not a great bunch. The only thing stepping in that looks a little bit different compared to what we saw before is the Malusi coming in place of the Echo. Now, they didn't change that away before. That's the only round that we saw it, as you say, back in round 3. So this is a small tweak.
Rush.
Surely not. They're brushing their way in. They've got one from the window, and look at this. G2 have got to scramble their way forwards. The kills are flying back and forth, but the plant is going down. Inside of Tuck at that as well. They've got a C4 on side, surely, but Hungry not let him rip. The plant's going to go off. It's a 4 versus 2. They have absolutely had their pants down in this attack, Ace. The window comes through. 2 are coming back for G2. Surely they can't fight this one back in. Virtue and Hungry. Aces, rips. 4 men stand alive. Only 2 can leave the winner. And with that plant down in the final 30 seconds, the C4 is the one. It's Aces. Is he the one to clutch this out here and now? He's got the advantage of the diffuser being down, but G2 can see it. He's got to work his way forward. Sees the man. Oh, misses such a crucial shot as well. That should have been the kill coming in.
They know where he
is. They've got Hungry holding off on Cool Vibes here. They can start sticking this, and he's going to have to panic. Swings. Can he get a swing? Sees the man. Hits the headshot. He's got to force it on the defuse. The swing coming in. He gets the down. Has he got time? Yes, he has. Virtue, the man we've been screaming to stand up, does just that. And Citizen, his expression says the lot. G2 get the win and get 2 critical points.
I have never seen the likes. I've never seen a game summed up so well in a final round as the back and forth of that Rogue rush as they steamrolled their way into sight, found themselves at a 4 versus 2 with diffuser down, but somehow out of the depths comes Virtue to win the round.
I can't believe it.
Oh boy!
I need to lie down after that one, Ace.
And you deserve one. We've been through the ringer there. Forget the players, we've been through the ringer.
Oh, what a game.
Honestly, that's one of the best games, not just the stage 3. You know, we can talk about technical siege, we can talk about anything else we want. That has been one of the most entertaining and enjoyable games this year.
I think you summarised it lovely and well there. It was not the most perfectly technical game. It was a rush that went wrong. There was a couple of post plants that didn't go the way of the team that planted. Whatever. For sheer entertainment, we have just been delighted.
It's so good. No, my ponytail's everywhere. It's honestly been it's been so good.
Yeah, it's been one of those. We've been having a field day over here, needless to say. Let's go to a break so we can get some water and have a good lie down, because, my God, I think we deserve it and the players do too.